I just present how to install a Home Assistant Supervisor in Raspberry Pi 4B. I already did it, so some commands will not be performed. I will just present them. Some of them I will also perform and explain how they are working. So let's start, and here we go. We will switch to the terminal, and okay, here we go. We have this. So you need to check first of all the version of your operating system. Okay, release display. This is the Debian 11 bullseye. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the browser, and you can see the Debian Linux 11 account bullseye is required. Also, you have another requirements. There is a Docker version provided, system D network manager, AppArmor, and Home Assistant OS agent. Okay, so we are going back to the terminal. And first of all, what we need to do is just to be sure that the system is up to date. So sudo apt update and double ampersand sudo apt upgrade y, and go. After that, we will use auto remove and auto clean. Auto remove is removing automatically packages that are not needed, and auto clean is clean the cache. So apt auto remove y and apt auto clean y. Okay, here we go. You can see everything is done. And if there will be any broken package, and it will inform you about this fact, you can use actually the quite easy solution to the apt fix broken install. This should solve the issue with broken packages. And that is all. I will install the Dns Utils, sudo apt utils, because we will need the dig command later, and also we need to install those packages. jQuery, wget, url, udis2, libglib2, network manager, dbus, AppArmor utils. Okay, that is okay. And the next thing we need actually is to be sure that they are installed correctly. And now we can install the Docker. So here we go. We need to get the Docker, official Docker installation script. Here we go. And now we need to run this script, sudo sh get the Docker sh. It will install the Docker. I'm not going to do that because I already did it. So the next step is also important, because you need to know that p user doesn't exist by default anymore in the system. So you need to find out how to define a user when you will install the operating system on your Raspberry Pi. So check the manual. And after that, you need to do one thing. You need to add a Docker group to your currently username you're logged in. So how to do that? Sudo user mode ag docker and your username. This way you can add a Docker group to your user, but I'm not going to do that. ID the current user will show the Docker group 995. It's already added. Okay, excellent. So next step is also important, because we need to be sure that AppArmor is starting with the system during the boot up process. So sudo vim or nano, but I will use vim boot tmd line .txt, and you need to add those two entries. So press insert, type AppArmor equals 1 space security equals AppArmor, then escape colon X to write it down and quit, but I will quit without saving, so colon Q exclamation mark. Okay, excellent. This is all actually, and then you need to reboot the server. After the reboot, you need to check the status of the AppArmor. So sudo AA status dot AA dash status actually. 14 profiles are loaded and are in enforce mode, and 56 processes have profiles defined and are in enforce mode, and there are no processes in complaint mode, and there are also no processes that are unconfined but have a profile defined. Excellent. So because we installed all those packages, we need to be sure that we have a proper version. So first of all, sudo dpkg list AppArmor application, and by P it will display the information about the AppArmor. Excellent. We are using the correct version because 2.13.x is a required one, so we have 6-10. This is the version that will be supported. Okay, now sudo docker version. We are using 20.10.17, 20.10 is required or above the newer one. Then the systemd version. Sudo systemctl status. Sorry, now status version, just like that. And the version is 247, and the required is 239 or above. So the systemd supported. And the last one, the network manager, NMCLI version. And the version is 1.30.6, and the required one is 1.14.6 or above. So excellent. Network manager is also supported. So now we need to install the OS agent. OS agent's version is located here, and by the way, all the links, the URLs will be provided in the description. You can see there are versions for many different architectures. Architectures are mentioned here, supported machine types. So all the documentation is provided. Also, you can see those packages here, and there is an explanation how to work with this. And you need to install the architecture 64-bit if you are going to install this in a Raspberry Pi 64-bit 64-bit ARM processor. Okay, so copy the link address, then just go back to your terminal, and you need to download it quite easy by wget and the URL, and it will download the package. Now you need to install it by sudo the dpkg-i our agent deep. This will install the agent, and because I already did it, so I will not perform this command. And now we need to test if the installation was successful by running this command. Okay, it will be sudo, give me a second, sudo gdbus into spec, remember correctly, system and destination. It will be IO plus OS, and the object path is IO as OS. It should display the information about the OS agent. You can see the version here. So if you will receive exactly the same screen, it will mean that the OS agent is running, and this command shouldn't return any error. So if you will get this introspection, object introspection with this interface, everything is working as expected. Now we need to download the package for the Home Assistant Supervisor, right? So wget github.com Home Assistant Supervised install releases later download Home Assistant Supervised there, and it will get the package. Excellent. Installation is the same way as previously, sudo dpkg-i Home Assistant Supervised deep. I'm not going to install it because I already did it. So next step. And now you need to be careful, because there are two solutions, two DNS solutions. One is the default from the Raspberry Pi resolve.conf file, and it is this one, cards etc resolve.conf, this one, and it's using the var and the DNS mask it's using, and it is writing the configuration to the etc resolve.conf to this file. But also you need to know that the network manager is writing the configuration to the same file, to the etc resolve.conf, and sometimes it happens that it is overriding the configuration. So in this case, actually, if it will overwrite, and you will see there are different DNS provided, you can change it. How to make it work? Sudo nm cli connection show. To display the connection, you need to check your UUID, it will be needed, and then you need to modify the connection. So sudo nmcli con modify, then you need to provide this UUID, and after that you need to change the IP version 4 DNS entry like this, and let's say 8888 and 884 and 4, and this way you can modify entries for the connection. And after that you need to up and down the connection. So we will see con down, this one, right? And sudo nm cli from up this connection, and it should restart. It should deactivate and activate, because if you will deactivate, you can lose the connection with the terminal, actually, through the SSH session. That is why you need to down and up the connection. Excellent. And after that, you can also, it's recommended, you can check the sudo cat etc resolve.conf file, and also you can sudo restart the dhcpdconf server, sudo systemctl restart the dhcpd service. Then you can check the status, It should run. Okay, excellent. And you can check the resolve.conf. Resolve.conf, the file I presented previously, this one, is using a different file. This is the default resolver. This is the presented sudo system utl status system D resolver service. This service is using the resolve.conf file, and this file is using this file sudo dhttp://cd.conf, and in this file you have static domain name servers defined, and also the static IP address for the Raspberry Pi and the gateway, which in my case is my MikroTik router. Okay, and this one, those servers comes from here, from this file, from this etc dhttp://cd.conf file, right? This is where it comes from this file, dhttp://cd.conf. They are defined here. So thanks those entries, system knows that the static IP address is assigned. It should use this gateway as default, and also the use.dns. What next? You can also check the root, and you can see the default goes to the MikroTik router, to the gateway, and also you can check the IP address. Grab F0, it should display this one, and you can check the IP address is assigned here. So actually that is it, I think. And the next thing is to be sure that the port 8123 TCP is allowed on your firewall if you are using a firewall. I'm using the UFW firewall, so sudo UFW, and we'll allow the port 8123 TCP, and it should work this way, right? Because I already did it, so sudo UFW status should show me the port I enabled, and you can see for TCP version 4 this is enabled, 8123, and for version 6 813 is also enabled. Okay, when you will install the Home Assistant Supervised from the deep package, it will present on the screen the information that you can log into the Home Assistant in your browser by providing the address of the Home Assistant. It's using, I recommend using the IP address of your Raspberry Pi or the machine you are installing in there, and in my case it is 10.10.0.100. and now the DNS Utils command dig-x, and we will check the browser that of HTTP, not HTTPS, HTTP by default, 10.10.0.100:8123. It should dig the command. You see there is a response from it. I can also ping it. But in this case, name or service is not found. Maybe without support also it's not now, but the IP address ping is not using it. You can see the ping command is pinging the IP address, and the dig command is to resolve the HTTP address. Excellent. So that is all. You're using a Home Assistant and you can log into the panel. So what you have to do is just to copy this HTTP address and paste it to your browser, and you should be able to log in. All right, here we go. I can log in there. So now what I need to do, I just need to log in. Go. Now I will use the two-factor authentication. You can find out how to do that. I will present how to make it work. Moment. We need to log in there. Go to the profile user and scroll down and enable multi-factor authentication module here in this section. Download the, I don't know, Authy or Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, any authenticator application to your mobile device. I recommend one of those three I mentioned. Then scan the QR code, provide 6-digit key, and it will enable the multi-factor authentication module. After that, when you will log out and log in once again, it will ask you to provide 6-digit key to be able to log in into the Home Assistant. For now, that is all, and I suppose you will be able to install it easily without any issues. I think that I will be able to explain more in the future when I will record new videos. So I think that first of all, I will explain how to install add-ons, when to use it actually, when it's needed, then how to install HACS, also how to configure those add-ons, because I'm using AdGuard Home as you were able to see, and also the backup, also the Cloudflare channel, and then I will present all of this, how to generate SSL certificates, how to make it work, how to get it work, how to be able to investigate some issues in the system, and also some network issues, what is important, also how everything is working, so you will be able to see that, and this is something that is very important. What next? Then I think I will show you also how to use custom panels, how to add the CPU temperature here to the panel. Just give me a second, I will present it in a moment. Oh, here we go. You can see the CPU temperature on my Raspberry Pi where the Home Assistant Supervisor is running, and also how to generate SSL for Home Assistant and use the HTTPS instead of HTTP. Also how to eventually add some device like, I don't know, vacuum cleaner. I have a one from Xiaomi, but the functionality is really poor because all I can get is a message that the cleaning started or stopped or it's done. That's also not a big deal, but I cannot use it through the Home Assistant. I cannot start the vacuum cleaner because, or stop it, or send it to the proper room because this option is still not supported. So I need to wait for the developer. Anyway, it will be an interesting option to show you how to make it work, how to do that, how to add it, because it's not so easy, to be honest, and that is why I needed HACS to be installed on the system to be able to use this option to integrate it. So I'm thinking what next can be presented, and of course the Cloudflare panel. So it will allow you to use domain or subdomain and use the application Home Assistant on your smartphone to log into the Home Assistant and have all those information in your smartphone without actually changing anything on your firewall, on your router, without actually exposing ports. So much more secure way, I think. The same can be achieved, if I remember correctly, with DAC DNS, but I prefer Cloudflare because I have the account there. I'm using Cloudflare for my website, so this was something that I'm familiar with. That is why I decided to choose the Cloudflare tunnel, because I know how to use it, how to configure it. Eventually, if there is an issue and the Cloudflare tunnel is not working properly in the Home Assistant add-on, I know how to log into the Cloudflare, how to delete the tunnel and recreate it from the scratch. And I will present this also. And I think that is all. I hope you enjoyed this, and wait for my next videos. I will be able to record them, I think within 1 or 2 weeks, something like that, when I will find it. So thank you very much and have a nice day or night. Enjoy. Bye.